Keep knocking the camera. Right. So we're going to do some arts and crafts. Just do a couple of paper templates for the front platforms for the cage. So we'll sort of try and see where we want the front leg to end up. Put that in position and just sort of have a bit of an eyeball and see what we're doing. So let's have a look. So we got the front A pillar here, and it's got a bit of a curve to it, this car. See, it sort of tapers back away. So where we're gonna land, I mean, I want to try and be hugging up here as tight as I can. I try to like to make the cages fairly tight because I've been in a few cars where you know, cages end up here somewhere, and they just, especially with these Corollas, the cage really encroaches on and you just feel really claustrophobic and you're almost sitting on top of the cage rather than feeling safe. So I want to try and tuck it up next to this pillar as much as I can, and then we can tie it, actually weld it onto here. So that should be achievable. So if we come straight down, our leg's going to be sitting roughly there. And I might line it up with the front of this seam here. It seems like a pretty good spot. Camera down for a bit. Seems like a pretty good spot to be, like this way. So about there, I reckon. Maybe back a bit. Ish. So from there to about there. What's that? 120. Yeah, it's a pretty nice platform. Come back to about 70. Then it gives you plenty of foot room too. There's nothing worse than riding as passenger in the car and you're kicking the cage and your feet are in it, especially the driver's side. You don't want the cage encroaching on your accelerator foot, so we'll go 70mm. So yeah, here's one I've done for an 8.6. 8.6, where I was putting this leg anyway, had a bit of a tape. It was more up here that we put it on that car. So that's the general idea, but this isn't quite the same shape, so we'll just make a new one. So you could just do this all with measurements, measure everything up, mark it out, and go and cut it straight with steel. But for me, I'm quite a visual person. I learn a lot from things that I see. I tend to learn a lot more from, or in like this sort of type of thing, a lot more from either watching or looking at a picture than I do reading text or numbers or measurements. So for me, this method's quicker, more accurate, and I tend to make changes along the way. So you can make straight measurements and in your mind it might seem okay, but a lot of the time when I visually see something I can go, well, hang on, this could be better if it looked like this or it looked like that. So this method works for me. So yeah, it's always interesting to find out how things work for you. You might find this an absolute waste of time and really annoying. So I've got a bit of a taper here. The car comes along and then it kicks and goes that way. Trim. And also doing it in the cardboard. I mean, that was a two second trim with a pair of scissors, whereas if you take the measurements and you go make it out of steel and you bring the steel back, you're an angle grinder, you're messing about. So you get all the hard bits done with the arts and crafts. So if you're at school and you think your art teacher's a complete idiot, and wasting your time learning how to mess around with paper, they might actually be doing you a favour. That's my edges. Now you could go straight square. I think that's actually really boring. I try to make things look a little bit nice. So that's sort of what I like to do. It's a lot more work. You end up with some different angles here that that you got to do with the card. I mean, you can do it with measurements, but because you end up turning this, then this angle's weird. But I think at the end of the day, that one looks nicer, and two, if you got your foot here, you're not kicking a square edge. You know, your feet flapping around while some crazy teenager's trying to drift the car for you. You know, I'm thinking about myself here. So if we get our center, which is 120 in half is 60, quick maths. Half of 25. Oh, sorry, half of 50 is obviously 25. Do that again. What I just did is I went to the center and then marked out from the center. Because if you measure up to there and you're half a mil out, you measure up to there and you're half a mil out, and you measure up to there, half a mil out, you're a mil and a half out. So going to the center and then going out each way, it's just good practice. I think it's, for what we're doing here, it's not that big of a deal, but perfect practice makes perfect. Right, that looks pretty good. Now, I want a 70 as well, but I've got sound ending in the way, and that's going to end up being, like, especially here, you're looking at a good 5 mil. So I'll grab the hammer and chisel and see if this will come out and see if it will behave itself. Sort of want to try and get that out. So before we go any further, let's do that. Always double check that it fits before you commit to fully welding it. Once you fully weld it and you realise that one piece is backwards or something's upside down, it's a real pain to fix. Ask me how I know.